Sorry, can I just start with Harry and Meghan, because I've had a strange weekend. I never quite get the... we want privacy on certain things, in this case, the visa application, but we're absolutely happy to then spread every bit of rubbish that pertains to our life, be it in a Netflix series or in a book. How do they imagine that everybody is not going to think you duplicitous, two-faced, horrible people?
I mean, where do you want to start, JK? I mean, I don't think that this is over. The Biden administration's lawyers have asked for extra time to consider this. But the U.S. Customs and Border Protection has said that the Heritage Foundation quite simply hasn't offered them sufficient evidence to prove that this is of public interest. And JK, I'm like, just open up Twitter. I think that there's plenty of public interest in how Harry made his way over to the United States.
Well, I agree, and because he made a big thing, we all saw that thing. I'm just sat in I'm sat in the airport lounge. I'm off to America. I hate this country. Of course there is, and of course because there's that thing about Biden and they're all in bed together, and any other time, I sort of imagined this would go very nicely with them wanting to talk about everything. I mean. That in itself, this just rumbles on. And the more interestingly, if they just released it, I think it would just have gone away. But they've done again great PR. Harry and Meghan have the worst PR in the world, don't they? Kins, come on.
Hey, did you see that?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Well, did you see that Joe Biden patted the king on his back?
Yes.
And you know what he was saying was, hey, at least they didn't find your kid's blow in the Buckingham Palace, you know. So Joe Biden has his own family member related issues. I don't know how much he's really worrying about Meghan and Harry at this point.
Mikey, I'm going to talk to you about that. Honestly, I have to say, but I've got to go back to Kins. I want to talk about, because I've never seen anybody look so, but Kinsey, I've got to ask you this. Shocking news over the weekend. Is it likely that Meghan is going to star in this, look at her face, in the sequel to The Bodyguard? What?
The audacity of this rumor. Apparently, some source told In Touch magazine or whatever magazine that Meghan Markle could take Princess Diana's place in the Kevin Costner sequel to The Bodyguard. I think that this is the biggest crock of you know what. I won't say this is a family show, but the audacity for somebody to start this rumor. There is no way in hell that Kevin Costner is picking up the phone and calling Meghan Markle saying, I want to make this iconic sequel with you. She is on everybody's no hire list right now. Her brand is absolutely toxic. And JK, he had created that role for Princess Diana. She was, going back and forth with him at the time of her death over a nude scene, trying to get a nude scene written out. I mean, that story is so iconic that it just offends me beyond all comprehension that the Meghan crew would try to hijack this story by casting Meghan as in the sequel.
I would respectfully suggest that Kevin Costner, who's recently taken legal steps to throw his wife out of his $145 million mansion somewhere in California, would probably welcome his ex-wife to be more than he would welcome Meghan Markle. Mikey, we'll move to you. You know I live in Windsor. I was minding my own beeswax today, couldn't go anywhere. Crawling with special agents, helicopters flying in and out. Joe Biden deigned to come and visit the King today for tea. Not for long. But he snubbed his coronation. Weird.
Well, I don't know about snubbed or not. Remember, Joe Biden's travel schedule is a little bit different because he has to have nap time and pudding hours. So I don't know that he can make that. By the way, as you can see, I'm at the New Hampshire Institute of Politics. New Hampshire, an early voting state, inside sources covering the presidential race, and a state that even though Joe Biden carried it in the general election, he came in 5th in the primary behind, people like Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg, because Democrats don't have a lot of support for the guy running again, as polls show. And so President Biden is no doubt happy to be in a different country where his poll numbers might be a little bit stronger.
Joe Biden, so we've had this discussion before, right? So, and Kinsey as well, but starting with you, Mikey, right? I watched him today, practically. I mean, he walked towards 10 Downing Street, like, honestly, worse than I walk. And I'm not having a go. Look at that. Look. Oh,
sure.
Oh, I'm there. Oh, there you go. Hello. I don't know why I've done that accent. Hello, you little man. Lovely. We'll have a cup of tea. Stayed for 42 minutes, because everybody knows he's anti-British and would rather be in Ireland. Goes to Buckingham Palace, goes to Windsor Castle. Practically has to be ushered by the King, sort of told where to stand. and I know we talk about this a lot, right? He's 80, is he? Is he 80 years of age,
Yes,
something like that?
He's 80 years old, yes.
He's 2 more years to go, and you lot are seriously going to potentially vote for another 86, he won't be able to walk,
That's
man,
right.
or speak.
Well, but he's not Donald Trump, and that's the way politics is working out in the United States. There are 2 topics that dominate the conversation. One is Donald Trump, and the other one is Biden's age, and they suck all the oxygen out. And so the Republicans who are trying to get traction and challenge Trump, they can't get any attention. Trump's storyline dominates the news. And then on the Democratic side, candidates like Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the nephew of JFK, are not viewed by a lot of Democrats as kind of serious candidates. And people are wondering, where is the person to step up and challenge, as you mentioned, someone who'll be 82 if he's reelected, will be 86 by the time he finished his second term. If he did, where's someone like, for example, California Governor Gavin Newsom, but they're staying on the sidelines for the moment. And so if it comes down to Biden versus Trump, there's a strong chance that Americans may choose Joe Biden.
But I'm really interested in this, right? One's obviously got thousands of problems and criminal things happening all over. The other one, seriously, and I said this before, Kins, because I used to laugh, and now I'm actually really angry that the people who run the Democratic Party will put this guy up again, because it's embarrassing. This is the leader of the free world, who shakes the hands of people who aren't there, who looks that doddery, and I'm not being disrespectful. I think it's an insult to everything he's achieved. But basically what Mike's saying is, if it's a choice, I mean, they could put anybody up against Trump if Mike's right. I believe Donald Trump will win again. What do you think, Kinsey?
I mean, I agree with Michael. I think that we're rage voting versus voting for a candidate that gives us hope and inspires. I think a lot of people are just voting for the other guy, or what they consider the lesser of 2 evils. Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's Weekend at Bernie's Part 2, and I can't turn it off fast enough. Help me, God. Pray for us.
Mike, just to finish, should we all pray for you in America where we are in England?
Look, we'll take all the prayers we can get. I was with 3 Republican strategists, 2 from D.C., 1 from New Hampshire today, and the conversation was, does Trump win the general election if he is the nominee? And the question was, it comes down to the handful of states that he used to beat Hillary Clinton, states like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. And the thinking is he's just not as strong in those states as he was in 2016. And so there's a very good chance that Joe Biden would get reelected. But Joe Biden has to get through the primary to survive. And, like you said, you don't want to be mean-spirited, but you watch the guy and you're like, is he really going to still be around in, August of 2024 to take the nomination from his party? And we just don't know.
I've got a great theory about Trump, right? Both of you very quickly, and then I'll move on. I think he should go to DeSantis and say, dream ticket, I'll do it, then you can be afterwards, and hoover up everything and get the Democrats out that way. What do you reckon, Kins?
I think that there are 2 very massive egos in the way that might not. Well, I think strategically you're brilliant. I think that there might be some egos that won't allow that to happen.
Mikey,
there are
Kinsey.
2 massive egos in that story, and that's just Trump. Then you had another one.
I love you too. Thanks for coming on, Mikey.
People.
Mikey G, Kinsey Schofield. Thank you very much.